It was August 7th, 1994. Just past 3 a.m., in the small town of Oakville, Washington, a quiet, sleepy community with a population barely over 600, the rain began to fall. But this wasn't any ordinary summer storm. Residents soon realized something deeply strange was happening. What descended from the sky wasn't water, it wasn't snow, it wasn't hail. It was a clear, gelatinous substance. Some described it as jelly-like. Others said it was sticky, gooey, almost synthetic. It clung to rooftops, coated car windshields, and stuck stubbornly to sidewalks. The rain covered roughly 20 square miles, and what followed next was even stranger and more alarming. By the afternoon, dozens of people in the area began falling violently ill. High fevers, severe vertigo, extreme nausea, and blurred vision, symptoms that had no clear source and no pattern. Even animals weren't spared. Cats and dogs that came into contact with the substance reportedly became lethargic, and several died within days. Local hospitals quickly filled with confused and frightened residents. The blob had arrived, and no one knew what it was. What falls from the sky and makes people sick, then disappears forever without explanation. One of the first to report the incident was a woman named Dottie Hearn. She lived just outside town, and was among the earliest to come into contact with the gelatinous rain. Later that day, her daughter and son arrived to find her unconscious, collapsed on the floor. She was rushed to the hospital, and when she woke, she described feelings of utter confusion and dizziness. Her daughter recalled wiping the strange substance from the doorknob and noticing how it smeared, almost like petroleum jelly. It didn't evaporate or dry like rain. The mystery deepened when it happened again and again. Over the course of 3 weeks, Oakville was hit by 6 separate blob rains. Samples were collected by several residents, including Dottie's family, and sent for lab testing. That's when the story took a darker, more unsettling turn. The lab results said the blobs contained human white blood cells. But how is that even possible? Initial analysis by a local lab revealed that the substance contained human white blood cells. Not like them. Actual cells. This baffled technicians. A later independent test by the Washington State Department of Health confirmed the blobs were biological in nature, though inconclusive on exact composition. Some suggested the presence of 2 types of bacteria, one of which is known to inhabit human digestive tracts. But where did it come from? Was it a freak weather event? A secret government experiment? Or something even more disturbing? Theory 1. Military testing. At the time of the incidents, Oakville residents frequently reported the presence of military aircraft flying low overhead. Some locals claimed to have seen unusual contrails or black helicopters prior to the blob storms. The idea quickly spread that the government, or military, was dispersing some kind of aerial biological test, perhaps a crowd control agent, or experimental bacteria. This wasn't entirely baseless paranoia. The U.S. military has a documented history of biological testing on civilian populations without consent. In the 1950s and 60s, San Francisco, New York City, and other urban areas were sprayed with supposedly harmless bacteria to test dispersion patterns. In many cases, people got sick. Could Oakville have been part of a classified experiment gone wrong, or denied altogether? Theory 2. Waste from aircraft toilets. Another theory posited that the blobs were waste material dumped from commercial or military planes. Partially frozen, blue ice. But FAA regulations make this highly unlikely, as waste systems are not allowed to be released mid-air. Furthermore, the blobs had no smell, no discoloration, and no trace of chemical sanitation used in aircraft systems. The composition didn't match anything used in aviation waste. Theory 3. Jellyfish rain? This one is perhaps the most bizarre. A local biologist speculated that a school of jellyfish could have been shredded by bombing exercises over the ocean, with high-altitude winds carrying the remains inland, where they fell as goo. Sounds wild? It is. There's no precedent for this, no meteorological mechanism that could support transporting organic marine matter 50 miles inland and depositing it uniformly across such a large area. Scientists dismissed the theory quickly. Still, that didn't stop rumors from spreading, and the mystery only grew with each passing year. Why were all official records, samples, and reports suddenly missing? Despite numerous requests, no official records of government testing in Oakville have ever been released. Samples sent to government labs were said to be lost. Even the original substance collected by the Hearn family reportedly disappeared after being handed over to state investigators. The residents who became ill eventually recovered, but questions lingered. The story was covered by news outlets, including Unsolved Mysteries, and sparked national interest. But it quietly faded from the media after the late 90s. No official explanation was ever given. No further incidents occurred. To this day, the U.S. government has never acknowledged any involvement, and scientists remain divided. Skeptics argue the blobs were coincidental or unrelated to the illnesses. Others insist there was a cover-up. And what about the strange timing? Oakville's weather records confirm no rainfall was forecasted during several of the blob events. Military radar logs for the area during those same nights remained classified or unavailable. What was it? Who dropped it? Why were people affected? And why was everything erased? We may never get the answers. The people of Oakville still remember those nights. For them, it wasn't a myth, or a metaphor, or a mystery show rerun. It was real. The goo was real. The sickness was real. The silence afterward, even more haunting. Because when the sky rains jelly, and the government won't explain it, you begin to wonder how many other small towns were just test subjects that never knew it. Was Oakville just unlucky? Or was it chosen? Sometimes, it's not what the evidence shows, but what mysteriously disappears that tells you everything you need to know. If the Oakville blobs were harmless, why did the symptoms spread so fast? Why did the samples vanish? And why does the sky still hold secrets we're not meant to understand? Maybe next time it rains in your town, you'll look a little closer.